Hello, everyone. Today I'm talking to someone whose work I've admired for a very, very long time. He's Amos Nachoum. He's a very well-known wildlife photographer. He's led many National Geographic expeditions around the world, and he's been photographing wildlife for over 40 years. Yeah, that's right, 40 years. Imagine that. So I'm sitting down with him to talk about this expedition that we offering at Winterfix to go diving with great whites in Australia. And Amos is the expedition leader of that trip, so he'll be running, he'll be there, and I get together with him to talk about great whites in general, about why Australia is a place to go and what makes him coming back to the water year after year. So if you're interested in sharks, if you want to get to know Amos a little bit more, or if you're interested about the expedition we're running, this conversation is for you. So now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Amos Nachoum. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much, man, for blocking this time and having the chat.
Something for me.
It's been amazing, man. Like following your work for many, many years, and now we're doing this together. So that's it's great. I'm very excited about having this chat. So we're talking about great white sharks today, and what it's like diving with them. Can you tell me, like, take me to like the very first time that you came face to face with a great white? What went through your mind? How was it?
It is a very interesting question because it did not happen immediately. It's a process that took a long time. As you see my hair, I started in 1980 when the first time I was in Australia with Rodney Fox, with the man that actually started all this adventure, all this craziness, diving with a great white. And what happened to him, he was beaten by a great white because he was spearfishing. It was a competition. He held the fish too close to his chest. The shark came in Australia, took a bite. They saved him, which is a big story by itself. It's tremendous. For human power, for people working together, like you and I now. So I did the trip to Australia several times, always in a cage with the world top researcher, the world top photographer, with David Dubele from National Geographic, Dr. Eugenie Clark, the researcher for National Geographic, for a story they did in National Geographic, magnificent and misunderstood. And then also diving that in Australia, in South Africa. And because of the year of experience, eventually I felt comfortable to get out of the cage. So if you ask me, what does that mean to be face to face with the shark? In my mind, is different than everybody else's mind. It is not being in a cage and see the shark coming. It is being in the water face to face with the great white. Only the distance between me and the camera right now. Only distance for 1 meter away.
Wow.
No, it's a different experience. But it is, I cannot call it even amazing. There is no word to describe it. The simple reason there is not word to describe it is because our mental attitude and what we've been brainwashed for so long, and the fear that they embedded in us, in everybody, about shark, the movie, not just Jaws was one of them, but many movies use shark as a subject to scare people away. And because of that, it is more than amazing. It's more than awesome. There is no word to describe the sensation and the ability to defy the perceived knowledge that is nothing anchored in truth. There is no truth to the fact that the shark want to kill us or want to eat us in the water. Accidents can happen for a reason. It's always a reason why something happened. It did not just happen and that's it. So it is empowering. I can say clearly it is empowering. That means that all my observation in life, and like you raising your kids and you're observing how she rises up as she grew up and how to handle her well, to understand her language, to understand her signal, when she cannot talk yet. The same thing was to be able eventually to be with a great white. It took over 10 or 15 years till I was able to be out of the cage. And this was in South Africa the first time I did it together with another one of my mentors beside Rodney Fox, Andre Hartman in South Africa was the one that took me under his wing, and together we challenged the shark and got out of the cage.
It seems like it's one of those things that you can't fully comprehend until you do it, right? Like until you're there, and then you understand, like, okay, that's what these guys are talking
People
about.
ask, and there is no word in the English language that I know, and I don't know. Maybe only David Attenborough can describe it in his own accent, with his own personality. But I'm small. I don't have the word. I have the sensation and the desire to take people with me, or to share it with people that come to see it, to be together, to see me when I'm there with the camera, and to see them when they're getting out of the cage with the big smile out of their faces. Yeah.
So when you tell people, like not in the shark world, right? Like outside of the shark world, when you tell people that you swam with great whites outside the cage, what do they say? How do they react?
People don't believe it. They total disbelief, because indeed what happened with Jaws 50 years ago, and this year is anniversary for Jaws. This year is the anniversary, 50 years for the movie, 1974, 75. People don't believe it. And I showed them the picture, still picture, not even video. This is still on film, so I cannot animate them. I cannot do the AI technology. and deliberately for that purpose as a photographer, because photographer have responsibility. Photographer is not only to take the picture and to get liking on Facebook or Instagram. Photographer is a communicator. Is like Anderson on CNN, is like any other television personality that tell the story, tell the truth. Yes? So I took a picture when I was out of the cage, the shark only 1 meter in front of me, with a 50mm lens. So all photographers know, all underwater photographers know, that you don't go with 50mm to photograph big animals underwater, because you don't catch the whole animal one. And you have to be very close to be able to see the detail, because water are 800 times denser than air. But I took the 50mm lens only to be face to face, like together with you now, and to capture your smile. No, the shark smile.
But you have to go that close, yeah.
Yeah, fill up the frame. One frame, uncropped, not touched, just the shark smile. When people see it, at least in my presentation, they're all gasping. They're all laughing. They don't believe. It's still difficult to take them to the water. They still will not go. The fear is so embedded. But some people, some very few, by now, I took about almost 300 people to swim out of the cage with me when Guadalupe was open, when Mexico Guadalupe was open. I was running at least once or twice a year trip, and I took 10 people at a time, one person at a time, 10 people on a boat, but only one person at a time out of the cage. I have developed a protocol how to do it right and safely, and we did it safely.
Well, I guess that would be a really interesting data point to know, like how many people in the world has ever swum with great whites outside the cage? And my guess is probably way less than the number of people who climb Everest and and that kind of stuff. There's very few people, right, who've done it. So it seems to be really unique, right?
Much less for the people who climb Everest. In Everest, over 6,000 people climbed Everest by now.
That's right. So let's move a little bit more let's go into the details of the expedition that we're talking about today. You already teased a few things, but you somehow convinced Rodney Fox, your mentor, to come and join you on the expedition. For those who don't know Rodney, just a quick overview. Rodney Fox, as Amos mentioned, he suffered a really severe shark attack, where he got like all his ribs broken, one of his lungs got punctured. It was a pretty big deal. The guy survived, and instead of getting scared of the shark, he kind of became curious about them, started studying them, started getting to know them, and he went into design one of the first cages to really film underwater the great whites. And he was actually the first person who filmed great whites underwater. He also collaborated with the movie Jaws to kind of design those cages and to get those shots in the water that they use in the movie. So he's definitely a big deal. He doesn't run expeditions anymore. I think he's in his 80s now. He's the last one was probably in the 90s when he ran the last one, but he's coming back for one more expedition, only one to come to celebrate the 50th anniversary of yours, and he's only doing one trip, one last dance, if you want to call it that way, and that's the expedition that we're talking about. So if you want to meet the old dude, the legend, this is the expedition that you go. Like, this is the only chance you have. You've been working with him quite a bit. Tell me about Rodney. What's it like to have him on the boat? How does he make this expedition different from any other?
Well, first of all, one of the interesting about Rodney is down to earth.
Mhm.
He's the salt of the earth. It's very simple, very easygoing, and his accent is a joy to listen to. He's he's talking about shark, and he's so soft. Everything's so rounded around him. And he has tremendous amount of stories. Not just that he was the consultant for Jaws, he was leading many other diving expeditions, as you know, or people don't know. The movie White Shark, Blue Water White Shark, which is the first movies, was with the legend of the diving industry, with Stan Waterman and Rodney Taylor and his wife. It was fantastic story that they've made there, and everybody did not see the movie. Just go on YouTube or on Vimeo and look at Whitewater Blue Death. He started there. Everybody went to him. And when National Geographic wanted to do a story, they went to him. When Al Gidding wanted to do a story, went to him. And he has a story to tell, because when you see a movie, you don't see all the detail and all the jokes and all the anecdote and all the failure of what happened during the movies. And that's the
Can
beauty.
imagine.
So that's the beauty of being with Rodney. And he will tell us stories going back 50 years back and tell us all what really happened, how all this significant experience took place, how the evolution of diving with shark. How is that to be with a cage? It was a yellow cage when we dived the first time. Yellow cage was very thin metal. I remember that very well. Matter of fact, there was a story was made by a magazine called at the time Scuba Diving Magazine. I did the story, but the spread, the opening of the story was only water with blood in the water and the yellow cage in the background. No shark, nothing else. This is how we see. It's interesting. This is how the vision was then about shark. Of course, today is very different. Rodney is eloquent in his conversation. His accent, it is right, really pleasure to listen to, and you have to sit close to listen to him. And he loved to share his stories. You don't have to push him very hard.
Wow.
Coming naturally out of him. So he would be with us. It'll be the last time. He's 88. With all the respect that I have for him, I invited him. He would be on the boat for those 6-7 days with us. And every time we come from the cage, we can talk to him, tell him what we saw, and hear what he has to say. In the end of the trip, the last day, we are going to go to see the museum that was made in his name and all his support, all the paraphernalia that took to put all the stories of shark and the movies and the television program, all the pieces, all of them embedded there in the museum. The only one in the world, the Shark Museum in Adelaide, Australia.
Wow, man! Like, I can imagine the kind of stories that he can tell. Like, if so much knowledge and probably a lot of things happening. Yeah, wow, that's what amazing experience that must have been. Yeah.
Anybody besides being with shark, besides being the adventure, anybody interested in the history and the story of behind the concept of great white. Everybody interested to hear what it took to get to this place where we are now. How diving started from an accident, what happened to Rodney, to how diving become with shark, or the awareness of shark become to the level because of this man. Because, and for me, to small part, of what I had to do with Rodney, in addition to what he did with Al Gidding, with Howard Hall, with all the people in geographic, David Dubillet, Dr. Eugene Clark. We all pieces, we are all been student of Rodney.
The man. All right, so let's change a little bit subject away from Rodney. You've dived, as you say, right? Like you've dived with gray whites many times in many different places. So, what's about the Neptune Islands in Australia? What makes it unique? What's this ocean floor cage thing? What makes this trip different? Because there's a few elements. I think why South Australia? Why the Neptune Islands? Why the ocean floor cage?
Okay. One of the main things is because December is the peak time. December, January is the peak time for the number of sharks to be around Neptune Island and dangerous reef. As the second element is because the water clarity is the water 70, 80, 100 feet almost clear. So again, Rodney have designed something, or his team designed something that nobody have done before. All the shark activity that we did either in South Africa or in Guadeloupe was only a surface cage. The cage was attached to the platform of the boat, and you feed the shark from the surface. You put chum, the shark smell the chum, or the bait, the chum, which is a mix of oil and fish parts. The shark smell it, come to the cage, and then they put bait in the water, drag the shark to stay around the cages. What Rodney did on his team, they took a cage and like an elevator, we go down to about 60 to 80 feet, depend where the sea floor will be. And then we go with the elevator and stay above water about maybe 1 meter to 2 meters above the sand. And then you wait for the shark to come in. The beauty again in Australia, and this time of the year, that's not one, not two, sometimes 3 or 4 sharks coming into around the cage and circling the cage. Inside the cage, you have a bath or a container with pieces of fish and oil that the dive master that inside actually press it all the time, and the sense or the scent of the oil and the fish pieces go to the water and get attracted to that. The cage moving left and right tenderly in the water. You try to hold balance to the cage. many fish around the cage run because they also want the pieces of the fish. And then the shark come in. And the beautiful, you see the shark swimming along the bottom of the ocean like a jet, but slowly. We are not rushing anywhere because they are in control of this environment, but not just against the sandy bottom. The bottom there is also with vegetation, the green vegetation, some kelps. So you see patches of kelp, and the shark come in between the sand and out toward the cage and coming around and around us. When we are safe in a cage and people feel comfortable, the dive master will open the door and you can stay face to face like you and I now right now. You're not stepping out of the cage, but just for the photographer, give you a chance to photograph without any obstruction in the front of you. So as the shark come in, you put the camera and you take the picture or you take the video and you do the best you can. That is the attraction being in Australia. Good visibility, calm water, in the bottom, 3-4 shark, and the 3 or 4 shark that mean some old, some good big one, old, and some young one. And when you see the young one coming in, because they are very fast in the beginning, when the older one came in and the bigger one, they give space, the changing position, and you see the hierarchy, how they move with each other, the male and the female, the young and the old, and it's like dance ballet around the cage. So the first dive, you go crazy. It's really mind-boggling. Second dive, you start to understand. Third and fourth dive, that's why I booked the trip to be 6 days, and why I put only small number of people on the boat, only 9 people participating, because in a cage that go down, we can put only 3 people the most every time. Enough space in the cage and be able to maneuver with your camera safely. That means if only 3 people at a time, every dive is for about 20 or 30 minutes. So you'll be able perhaps to do only 2 dives a day, like that.
I see. Okay, well, that ties really well into my next question. So let's talk about what's a typical day in the expedition. So the whole trip is 10 days, but it's actually 6 days of full diving, right? So 6 full days of diving. So walk us through one of those diving days from you when you wake up until you go to sleep? How many dives were you doing between? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, all the trip is about the sharks. As soon as we get up, or 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, the team already going out and on the edge of the platform and start chumming, or actually chumming, put slick in the water to attract the shark. As soon there is a shark arrive, then we have groups already for 3 people each group, only 3 because we have 9 people. Or I invited only 9 people. The boat can take 16 people all around.
Well, that's a good point. Like you definitely designing the trip to have really intimate quality encounters with the sharks, right? Instead of being like, being waiting there for the line, watching the sharks from the outside. So
we are flying across the world. The airfare is so expensive. Your time at home is so expensive. So my attitude or my understanding of consumer, like my time, I'm consuming as well. My time away from home is the most valuable. Not how much the trip costs. The time away from the home. Absolutely. How much I pay for the airline to go there and 16 people and to do only 1 dive a day. I'm wasting of my life. So I deliberately designed the trip only to be for small number of people, only 9 people altogether, including myself. So that is to allow people to be in the water for 2 or 3 times a day. And by the end of 6 days, you have between 15 to 19 dive with the shark, the picture, the experience, the knowledge, the happiness that you bring home with you and share it with other people will be totally different picture.
Cool. So go a little bit. So then you wake up in the morning. There's 3 people can go in the cage. How many dives do you normally do every day? I guess you just dive and eat until it gets dark. Is that how it works?
Well, so we get up in the morning, have breakfast. The crew already on the edge on a platform, jumping for the shark. Meantime, we tell stories. And Rodney wake up and start question about what happened the night before or what to look for today. When the shark show up, everybody go to action. We go to dress up, and then is a team. The crew have a very beautiful chart. Every team, every group already know when they are going to be in the water. They start dressing up. People need to know the water are cold, relatively cold. Water between 15 to 19 centigrade. That means about 55 degree water.
So 7 millimeter
wetsuit. Very much recommended to bring heated suit or heated vest. Today in the market there are heated vests with batteries, waterproof battery, which are very good, work very well. Anybody want to come with a dry suit? You are welcome to come with a dry suit, because then you'll be warm, you'll be safe all the time when you're in a cage. You don't have to worry. And that's how the day goes long. Then you eat whenever you want to eat because the lunch is open whenever people are free.
I see.
And then till about 4 or 5 o'clock till nighttime, then it's time for other presentation. Presentation by the crew, presentation by Rodney, and presentation by me. The presentation by the crew will be about the biology of the shark, about the shark life, about the shark history, whatever they've seen there. Rodney will talk about picture segment from movies and television program that he's working on. Anecdote about all the actors that have been with him. They were afraid and they were happy. And and I will try and make my best to work with people on their photography skill, what I did before, how to do things today, other video or other stills. Now, when we start the trip, on the first day, we go into a place where we are going to be able to swim in beautiful shallow water, sandy beach, clear water with New Zealand seals, which will be really fantastic. You can spend almost all day long either snorkeling or scuba in about only maybe 5 meters of water and just be with the seal and be able to film them as your heart desire. Then we continue toward the shark.
The sharks. Okay. So let's go to that, right? Like, let's go to the first day that you're going to dive with sharks, right? People wake up, have breakfast, cages are in the water, chum is in the water, and the first great white shows up. This thing is massive, right? And it's time to get in the water. So how are the people who've never swum with great whites before? Like, are they nervous? Are they scared? Are they excited? Do they all want to jump straight away, or it's more like, like, oh, you go first? No, you go first. After you. What's the situation like that?
Well, here's the interesting story. The last trip I did last October in Australia.
Mhm.
And in the team, there were three women, three sisters. They are from 65 to 75, three sisters. But they love the shark. They never seen shark before. Well, they saw other shark, but no great white. They were the first to go to the cage. They are so determined. It was fantastic because the people that never been on shark and decide to come on this trip, they are over excited to be there. They want to be the first to go. And that is, for me, is really the joy to see this kind of determination, commitment, and dedication, and really the desire to experience it, to see it. So it's much easier for Rodney or for me to lead the people safe in and out of the cage on every dive. And that is the beauty of it. There is a competition who want to be first. Everybody
Okay.
wants to be first. Of course,
Okay.
everybody wants to be first because they want to get this feeling. But everybody going to be first because you're always first because it is your personal experience.
For sure, yeah.
And
So,
that is what it's all about.
so when they do the first dive, when they come out of the cage and they're super excited about the first encounter, what do they talk about? What's surprising the most?
Only two things. One,
Uh-huh.
how exciting it was and how cold it was to be in the water.
But it was worth it, I guess.
Yes, not just because I'm cold, but they want to go again. They cannot wait to go again. So the boat that we're working on is Rodney Fox boat, called Rodney Fox, is beautifully designed. Really, they did a lot of good work. The dive platform or the dive arena is very large. It's the largest part of the boat.
Mhm.
On both, there is in the middle, there is the tank container in the middle. In
Yep.
both sides, there are shower and heads, hot water all the time.
You come out and straight to the shower.
You come out of the cage, you run into the shower, put hot water in your suit, and you feel like a brand new person. And the only thing you can think about is about what you saw, the shark that you saw there. So that is really, they did very good thinking of Rodney and his son Andrew and their partner Mark, and how they put all the package together and how they take the shark diving to a level that is second to none. In shark, in this kind of open water activity, to be with a predator, to be with animal that everybody afraid. Water conditions are not warm like Raja Ampat or like the Red Sea or the Maldives, but make you feel comfortable that you want to be there again and again. The Australian team on the boat, the crew, how knowledgeable, how dedicated they are. The team is not only Australian. Some of them, sometimes there are people from other country that came in and wanted to study shark. They wanted to learn about the shark and now become part of the crew. So it's very interesting. The last trip I did, there were two people from China, Chinese, that they did a couple that they stayed there for almost a year to 2 years just because they wanted to learn more about shark and then go back to China and to change the behavior or the perception of shark and shark finning soup.
That's inspiring and needed. So,
Yes. So
so you've been doing this for decades, man, like swimming with not just sharks, but like, many other animals and predators. What keeps you coming back to the water? What, like in a lot of people, like after doing it for like 30, 40 years, they'll be looking at something else. What keeps you coming back?
there are two elements.
Mhm.
One is the human elements, because what happened is all of the, or most of the environmental organization ask people to send them donation so they can continue to do the work of conservation. I'm saying exactly opposite. Come with me on a trip. You will be the ambassador when you come back home for conservation. Your picture, your story, people believe more than any next article in any magazine
100%.
and any other movie. All the best what BBC does, Blue Planet, all the work that National Geographic does, all the work that Sea Shepherd does, Mission Blue, Greenpeace, and all of them is the work. But the human elements is, in my understanding, is the most powerful one. That when I be able to take you or to have you join, eventually decide to join the trip, and you come back with authentic story emotional story of yours, not just my word, not just my smile, not just my, and you be able to tell the story to your kids, to your family, to your friend at work, to your friend in the next baseball game or the next golf game or the next basketball game. All of the sudden is different world. That is what I put my effort as far as conservation concerned. That is why I took my photography to excite people to go, for them to do a better picture, to tell a much bigger story. So it is a ripple effect. When you throw the stone in the water and create ripple, 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 I want to take many people and they create many ripples, and there will be more people affected by the story. So that's the first one. Second, because I've been doing that for so long and I have gained certain skills and other skills, other ability, I take myself today, at that time of my life, not to do, and to do mostly subjects which are endangered and threatened. Not just diving trip for the sake of diving trip, because there were many young operators which doing very well trip to many places around the world. So the greater number than me, which is very welcoming. But I try to take it one step further into animal that much more difficult to see them, more difficult to find them, and they are limited financial or economical possibility. But bring few smaller group of people with me, not to affect the environment. So it is not another commercial trip. Make small step, leave small footsteps on the environment, and be able to bring a positive story about those animals. That's what make me keep going there.
I see. Well, thank you for doing that, by the way. I think it's an amazing contribution to the conservation, right, of these animals and the
That's
recent
what keep me.
awareness.
That's what also keep me young. I'm 75 today. That's my birthday. I'm
Wow.
75, and
There you go. Happy birthday, Amos.
I did only three quarter of my life. I have another quarter to finish,
At least, right?
at least. And but the animal, the environment, the personal mission keep me really young, active, desire, and the energy to do it, the dynamic every morning to get up and to do more of that kind of stories.
I tell you what, I wish that I will make it to 75 and have your passion and energy that you have today. I think it's quite inspiring. Keep doing
Thank
what
you
you're
very
doing, man.
much.
All right, so who do you think this expedition is for? Like, it's obviously not for everybody, but what kind of person says yes to this kind of trip?
The truth is, the trip is fit everyone. There is no limitation because it's not physically very demanding. There's no limit in the limit. There's not physical limitation in doing this trip like climbing Everest, okay, or driving in a Formula One, or driving dirt bike. There is no limit here. It is diving simply inside the cage. It is for among the diver or even non-diver, people that really curious about the environment, people curious about willing to push themselves and how to overcome their own fear and their own limitation. Because the enemy of all fears, any fear that will be, fear for marriage, fear for making money, fear for meeting new friends, all fears are due to lack of knowledge and experience. So in this case, not only me, but with Rodney and the crew on the boat and myself will provide you the knowledge and the experience. If you want to learn or if you want to push your boundary and your fear of anything, it white is one subject that we will be able to take you there, share with you, escort you there safely and back. Of course, it's good for photographer, people interested in wildlife, and for people that are interested in the ocean and conservation and really about shark behavior. So it's no limit. It's really no limitation. The limitation is only because we think that we are limited, but we are not limited. We are able to live our dream or our aspiration. Just give yourself a chance to do that. Open your heart, and that it's possible to do it safely. I took with me over 8,000 people to many different expeditions around the world, and 100% safety, immaculate safety record. And I'm not going to change it. And there will be a great white, will be a polar bear, will be anaconda, will be croc, will be Nile croc, will be leopards, everything done safely. The idea is that people if I can live my dream, everybody can live his dream. And I can assist you, escort you there, and proud of you when you do it next time by yourself.
Awesome. So there you have it, guys. So you don't need to be experienced diver, don't need to be a pro photographer. You just need to have an adventure spirit and, be curious about sharks and interested. And Amos and his team will do their best to guide you.
People need to have the time, those 10 days or 12 days, and they need to have the budget because it costs the boat as a crew, the boat has fuel, food, and the time that Rodney gives us and that I give you. So each one of us, we have value for our time, and we need to cover that in a way to respect to the people. And then in return, we give you everything that we know, no limitation.
I mean, things cost money, right? And if you want access to this very unique experience, it's the only way to do it. Well, guys, everyone listening, like, some opportunities only happen once, and this one is one of them. Like, if you ever dream coming face to face with a great white, guided by two absolute legends in the field, in the marine and the shark conservation, in an exclusive trip, a very intimate, hands-on, this is your chance. At the time of recording, there's 9 spots, but there's only 4 left. So if this expedition is calling your name, now is the time to secure your spot, because this trip will sell out, and it's very exclusive. There's only 4 spots left, so you kind of have to hurry up. So if you want to learn more about the expedition, you can go to adventurefixgo.com. We drop a link in the description below. And if you have any questions, you can go in there. You can reach out to us directly on the website. You can send us a message. We have a live chat there. You can even book a call if you prefer, like one-on-one video call. I'll be replying personally to all those messages, so you will be talking directly to me. And it's a really amazing trip. We're really happy having Amos and his trip on Adventure Fix. I think it's really what we're all about, like really truly unique adventure expeditions in small group, best guides out there, something that you can't really book anywhere else. And I think this is one of a kind, guys. So if you're dreaming about going and dive with great whites, it doesn't get any better than this. So Amos, thank you so much, man. I think a lot of people will get tons of value out of this. I think it'll be really interesting for people. And I just can't wait to chat more.
Antonio, thank you very much for the opportunity. You, your wife, and your little kid that allow you to be here with me. And for all the people that are listening to us, don't hesitate, call Antonio. And if you need to, he knows how to find me, and we can give you the more answer to all your question and all your doubt or curiosity that you have, because we are here to fill up your curiosity and for the support that we get from the Adventure Fix.
So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this conversation I had with Amos as much as I did. And if you want to know more about the expedition, you can go to our website at adventurefixgo.com. I'll make sure I drop a link in the description below. The next best step that I recommend is to go there and download the trip brochure. It includes all the information, all the logistics, itinerary, all the details that you need to know about the trip. And if you're really interested, there's only 4 spots left as the time of recording. So if you really want to go, now is the best time to secure your spot, really. It's really a one-of-a-kind trip that it won't happen again. So if you're interested, now is the time to take action. And also, if you enjoy this conversation, please let me know in the comments. If I see there's enough interest and the feedback is good, I might bring more expedition leaders to talk about the trips they're running and the trips we're offering at Adventure Fix, and any trips in general that I think that'll be cool. I love talking about adventure, and if people find these conversations interesting, I'm happy to get together with these people and make more of this. So make sure if you like it, make sure you drop your comment below, and I'll read them all. I'll reply to them all, and if there's enough interest, I'll consider doing more of this. Until then, talk to you soon. Bye.